Hi, and welcome to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Today is episode 11 of my Beatles UK album series, so please come and join me. So hi and a very warm welcome today to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Hope I find all you fantastic people doing really well. You're there, I'm here, and here we go again. So anyway, the subject for today's showing is the Beatles UK album series episode 11, which continues with the UK 1960s pressings of the Beatles LP Yellow Submarine, which was actually part George Martin's soundtrack. And sadly, this LP met with a lot of criticism at the time because it contained only a few new Beatles songs. And obviously it was very hot on the heels of the White Album as well, which was released just 2 months earlier. So in this series, as previously mentioned, I will only be showing original pressings of Beatles albums between March 1963 and May 1970. Okay then, right now it's time for something completely different. It's Ask BeatleDave, yeah! So yes, welcome to Ask BeatleDave, where I'll be answering your questions about anything you have about Beatles related, perhaps about any item I've shown or haven't shown as yet, any of the solo projects by the guys, and I'll endeavour to answer it right here for you. So today's question is from my old mate Beatle Brad. How are you doing, Brad? Hope you're well, my friend. And he asks, BeatleDave, if you could have seen the Beatles live at the time, where would it have been and what year? Okay then, well, the Beatles did so many standout concerts in so many fantastic locations, whether it be Shea Stadium, Candlestick Park, Hollywood Bowl, or even the Budokan in Japan. But for me, the one concert I would love to have seen, without doubt, is the rooftop performance in 1969. There's something very magical about this gig, and to have been there would have been an absolutely special moment in space and time. Just absolutely wonderful. So Brad, I really hope that answers that question for you. And guys, if you want to contribute to Ask BeatleDave, just send me a question in the comments and I'll endeavour to include it in a future episode. It's that simple. So why not please me by getting involved and ask me some super questions. Okay now, so moving on, it's time for I Call Your Name. So yes, it's on to them old shout-outs, and it's a great big BeatleDave hi to Mitta Bickets, James Ladderoot, Revolution Ricky, great name, Toby Jackman, Jamie Spinks, check out Jamie's channel on YouTube, it's a great channel, David Rainey, Steve Biasia Dabada, and George Price. That's a great big hi to all of you guys from yours truly, BeatleDave. So on to the main event then today, guys, and we continue with the Beatles' original UK album series, episode 11, and the album Yellow Submarine. So please, come and join me. Yellow Submarine is the 10th studio album by the Beatles, released in the USA on the 13th of January 1969 and on the 17th of January in the UK. The LP was issued to accompany the film, which was premiered back in London in July 1968. However, because of the White Album impending release, the soundtrack was put back to early 1969, at which point the Beatles had long forgotten the project. The film was a contractual obligation by the Beatles, who were asked to supply the 4 new songs, as well as George Martin being asked to supply the incidental music. Although technically recorded before the White Album but released after, it wasn't viewed by the band as a significant release. Although in the vaults lay a 5-track master tape for an unreleased EP, which eventually saw its release on the Beatles Mono Masters in 2009. Out of the 6 Beatles tracks on side 1, Yellow Submarine and All You Need Is Love were both previously released songs. George's song Only a Northern Song was rejected from Sgt. Pepper, and his other contribution, It's All Too Much, was also recorded at the end of May 1967. Altogether Now was made specifically for the film in mind, as also was Hey Bulldog. The album was issued in stereo only in the US, while the UK album was available in both stereo and mono, although the UK mono version was simply a fold down. Since its release, it has always had mixed reception from music critics, some of whom consider that it falls short of the high standard generally associated with the Beatles catalogue. Sadly, Yellow Submarine was one of the few Beatles releases that failed to top the charts in either the United Kingdom or the United States, only reaching number 3 and number 2 respectively. So let's take a look. So here is then the Beatles Yellow Submarine LP, and we're going to be starting with the mono editions that I have here then. It's released on the 17th of January 1969 on Apple Records, catalogue number PMC 7070. So starting with the cover then, and as you can see it's got a slight bit of toning around the right hand side there, but it's still a great looking cover, this particular one. And obviously it's based on the original cinema poster, slightly different to that obviously to make it square for an album cover. So let's just take a look at this particular cover. This is actually a variant of the particular Yellow Submarine cover, but we'll look at that in a moment. So you've got the guys there. Of course, you've got that flying glove and old Fred and everybody there. Jeremy. And you've got the Yellow Submarine, the Beatles Yellow Submarine, Nothing Is Real. And then the Sgt. Pepper's Band there. And the Snapping Turks on the right and the Blue Meanies. A really nice colourful pop art sleeve. So let's just turn that over. And we've got side 1 there, all the tracks are side 1. Obviously they've duplicated Yellow Submarine and All You Need Is Love there on this particular album. But then you've got the 4 tracks, the 4 main tracks, which are included in the film and possibly would have been on an EP if all things had been different. Then you've got the guys there. And on the right hand side we've got the mono number, with also available in stereo, and you've got the George Martin incidental music there, which is absolutely great. I love the incidental music, really great. And then we've got a little bit about, got a little bit from Derek Taylor there, and there's also something from Tony Palmer from The Observer. A really great, interesting bit about the White Album there. And at the bottom there we've got the EMI Records, Hayes, Middlesex, England, the 33 1/3, made and printed in Great Britain. And on the right hand side there, EMI recording. And there's no Garrett and Lofthouse details on this particular cover, which is the very first issue cover. Let's just take a look at that spine. So with your original Yellow Submarine then, you would have got your black apple die cut inner sleeve, and this one's in absolutely superb shape, both sides. So onto the mono vinyl then. Now I really like this album, I've got to say, you know, I love the incidental music, and I know there's not many Beatles tracks on it, but in a way we got the song track album, which is obviously more what this album should have been, but that's just the way it was in '69. You've got the Apple Records around the rim there, and you've got the sold in UK details across the top of the label, with Yellow Submarine, the title there. And on the left we've got the EMI recording, 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK and side 1. And on the right there we've got the PMC 7070 with the P 1969, P 1967 and P 1966 there. And you've got all the titles of the tracks there, of course. Yellow Submarine, It's Only a Northern Song, All Together Now, Hey Bulldog, It's All Too Much, and All You Need Is Love. And the matrix on side 1 is XEX 715-1. That's a beautiful looking record. I'm just going to flip that over. And then we've got side 2, George Martin's incidental music from the film. It's actually rescored for the album actually. It's not the same as the original score from the film. But we've got the sold in UK details there across the top. And you've got the Yellow Submarine title. And of course you've got the Apple Records rim. around the outside. And on the left we got an EMI recording, 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK and side 2. And then on the right we've got PMC 7070 with the P 1969. And of course the matrix on side 2 is XEX 716-1. Really nice looking album, this one. So on to my second copy of Yellow Submarine there, which is in mono. Released on the 17th of January 1969 on Apple Records, PMC 7070. And this is the second variant, this particular one. So once again, we're going to look at the cover again. As you can see, this one's a lot better, this cover. It's much whiter. It's a really, really sharp one. Really nice, this one. Beautiful laminate. Fabulous looking. A couple of little creases at the bottom, which is a bit irritating, but they do happen. It's really annoying. But it's a really vibrant looking cover, this one. Really nice. Flip backs are really superb, and this is really white on the back, this one. Once again, we've got the track list in there, down the left side. Produced by George Martin. Of course, we've got the P66, 69 and 67 as well. A picture of the guys there, cartoon Beatles. And at the top there, you've got the PMC 7070, and also available in stereo, PCS 7070. And George's score, as I said, you know, I really do love the score. Got Pepperland. I think Sea of Time is probably my favourite. Sea of Holes, Sea of Monsters, March of the Meanies, Pepperland Laid Waste, and Yellow Submarine in Pepperland. Fabulous. We got the Derek Taylor and the Tony Palmer from The Observer there. Really great read, that. Of course, importantly, we've got these red lines, which is on all first pressing covers. So keep an eye on that if you see one. If you've got the red lines, you know it's the first pressing. But this particular one, of course, on the bottom right hand side there, now on this particular copy, you've got the printed and made by Garrett and Lofthouse there with the patents number. And of course on the left there we've got the little Apple logo with Apple Records, EMI Records and Hayes, Middlesex, England there on the left. It's a really super sleeve, this one. And there's a spine. It's a smashing spine as well. Once again, we got a really superb black apple inner there. This is probably one of the best ones I think I've ever got. So it's a really nice tidy one. Fantastic condition. So onto the mono vinyl then. And this will be exactly the same as the previous one there, because it was only pressed once. And again, this is in absolutely superb condition. This feels a little bit thicker, the vinyl, but I suppose it's possible. You've got the Apple Records rim there with the sold in UK details, and Yellow Submarine with the EMI recording on the left with the 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK and side 1. Then on the right we've got the PMC 7070 with the P 1966, P 1969 and P 1967 there on the right as well. Then we've got all the tracks there at the bottom and the Beatles at the bottom, right at the bottom there. Of course, the matrix is exactly the same as the previous copy, being XEX 715-1. And we're going to flip that again and spin that round for George Martin's side. And of course, you've got the Apple Records rim, and then we've got the sold in UK details again there with Yellow Submarine. On the left, EMI recording, 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK, side 2. Then on the right we've got PMC 7070 and the P 1969 with all the tracks at the bottom and the original film score there. And the matrix on side 2 is XEX 716-1. I think this copy is actually better than the previous one. This is probably pretty much mint, this one. Really beautiful looking, this one. So on to the stereo editions now of the Beatles Yellow Submarine, released on the 17th of January 1969 on Apple Records, catalogue number PCS 7070. And once again, this is quite a nice sleeve, a really nice looking sleeve. Got a few little creases at the bottom, but generally lamination and everything is pretty good. It's nice and white still. Still nice and vibrant, really good cover. And then we flip that over. Got all the song titles there. Of course you've got the red lines, as you should have. And you've got the cartoon Beatles again. We've got the stereo number there, PCS 7070 stereo. With the George Martin side there. And once again we've got the Derek Taylor notes and Tony Palmer's part from the Observer. And then bottom left we've got the Apple, EMI Records and the Hayes Middlesex England details. And on this sleeve we've got the printed and made by Garrett and Lofthouse there. There is some stereo sleeves out there without that, so I'm still trying to find that one. But this one's still a nice little sleeve. Just look at that spine there as well. There we are, the Beatles Yellow Submarine. It's another fabulous black Apple inner there. That one's in really fantastic shape. Once again, really hard to find these in really nice shape now. So onto the stereo vinyl then. This one's in beautiful shape. Once again, really nice looking. Nice dark apple there. Really difficult to see in some lights actually, all the titles and things. But it looks nice. It's a nice looking apple. You've got the Apple Records rim there with the sold in UK details across the top and Yellow Submarine. And on the left we've got the EMI recording with the 33 1/3 manufactured in the UK and side 1. And on the right there we've got stereo with the PCS 7070 and you've got the P, Circle P 1969, Circle P 1967 and Circle P 66, 1966. With all the tracks at the bottom there and the Beatles. The matrix on the stereo version is YEX 715-1. And obviously with the stereo versions they were pressed many times. Right, let's flip that over. Another fabulous looking Apple label, this one. Really does look nice, this one. You've got the Apple Records rim, and at the top there you've got the sold in UK details again, with the Yellow Submarine title across the top. And then on the left we've got the EMI recording, 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK, and side 2. And across the other side there you've got the stereo, PCS 7070, and the P 1969. With all the titles of George Martin's incidental music there, and original film score. And the second side matrix is YEX 716-1. And this one's in really beautiful condition. It's barely been played, this one. So moving on then to a second stereo LP variant which I've got here then. This would have been available between July and November 1969 on Apple Records PCS 7070. And we'll take a look at the sleeve, and I think this one is absolutely pristine. This is a really beautiful sleeve, this one. Better than the previous one, much definitely. Really super, got some beautiful laminate there. Really nice looking. Nothing is real. So let's flip that over. And of course, although this is a late 60s pressing, we've still got those red lines there. Now, EMI didn't waste anything, so if there's any covers left over from the first pressing, they would have actually used them on the next pressing, and so on and so on. And that's the way they did things. So of course we've got all the track list in there on the left. And then you've got the George Martin score on the right there with the PCS 7070 stereo. All the text from Derek Taylor and Tony Palmer. And the Apple Records details and the EMI Records details there. And then down the bottom we've got the printed and made by Garrett and Lofthouse patents. And it's really beautiful spine on this one, really nice. So with this pressing then we've got this white Apple inner. Really nice condition, that one, beautiful, absolutely crisp, really nice. So this final stereo vinyl I've got here then, slightly different. As I say, it's a late 1969 edition. This time you've got no sold in UK details there, as you can see, pinpointing it to the late 60s. Got the Apple Records rim though, and of course you've got the Yellow Submarine title. The same details on the left with the EMI recording, 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK, and side 1. And then on the right we've got the stereo, and the stereo number PCS 7070 with the P1969, P1967 and P1966 there, with all the song titles there and the Beatles. So the matrix on this side is a little bit different. It's YEX 715-3. I'm going to flip that over to the second side. Once again, there's no sold in UK details. We've got the Apple Records perimeter around the rim there, with Yellow Submarine title. On the left, an EMI recording, 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK, and side 2. Then on the right then we've got stereo, PCS 7070 and P1969, with all the tracks from George Martin's score and the original film score at the bottom. And finally, the matrix on this record is YEX 716-1, and this is absolutely mint condition. Beautiful record. So thank you all for tuning in today, guys, on the channel. Really hope you've enjoyed seeing those fantastic original Yellow Submarine LPs. And of course, as always, I appreciate any comments I get from any of you fabulous Beatles people, and I'll always reply to you just as soon as I can. So the next original UK album series will be back again next month with the penultimate episode, and of course it's the wonderful Abbey Road LP. Right, now, so next week's video I will be showing a very special Paul McCartney and Wings item from 1979, and there is only 500 of these in existence, so you guys can ponder over that. So just make sure you're here, same Beatles time, same Beatles channel, next week. So anyway, as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, why not give us a like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. This is BeatleDave signing off.